All right, let's talk Tennessee, Georgia. We kind of teased it a little bit. We've danced around it. We need to dive into this thing because it is the game of the century, the second one in the span of like 2 weeks. So Tennessee at Georgia, the line there is Georgia -8. The total there is 66. Tennessee is 8-0. Georgia is 8-0. Both teams are playing some of their, I think it's fair to say, their best football of the season at this point. I don't even know where to start. Where do you start on this?
And listen, the recency bias is carrying a lot of weight with the betting public here. Like we talked about this line just last week, you could have gotten Tennessee plus 12.5. Mm-hmm. It opens up 9.5 and it's bet down to 8 right now. Offensively, they're really good. We know that, but they were really good last year. They were 18th in the country in yards per play. They're 5th this year. So as much as their explosiveness and their efficiency on offense last year, it was a lot also with their pace of play. They snapped the ball over 100 times in a bowl game against Purdue. But Hooker he's so good. 47-4 touchdown to interception ratio. So he's what you want. You want to attack, but you want to be safe. Well, man, the reward for very little risk is what we're all looking for in quarterbacks, and he's been spectacular and moving up the draft boards as he should. Defensively, though, Rob, is where they are allowing them to compete at a national level and not just go to the Music City Bowl or something like that, okay? They were 61 in yards per play last year. They're 35 this year. That's respectable. And they're getting some stops. And so that's the thing where that has allowed them to kind of take it up another level. Year 2 at Heupel, it's, college football tells us year 2 is a little bit magical. Year 2 for Bob Stoops in Norman, Oklahoma, he wins the whole thing in a rebuilding mode. Year 2 for Urban Meyer in Gainesville, Florida, allows him to win the whole thing in a rebuilding mode. So here we are with Heupel, which was flat out a lazy hire by his former AD at Central Florida when he struck out on some others. But it has worked out beautifully for them. And Hooker, the transfer for Virginia Tech, has been unbelievable. Georgia, though, is a different story. Georgia's not as good as they were last year. You don't lose 15 guys to the NFL draft, and then you throw in a 16th guy, Nolan Smith, who's going to be a first-rounder, who's out for this one and the rest of the season as well. Tennessee showed me a sign of maturity that they are ready to be taken seriously on the highest level when they just crushed Kentucky in a look-ahead spot. I mean, they all had to be peeking ahead at this matchup with Georgia. So that tells me a lot. But also, man, this line is just creeping down, and it is, they don't pay the light bill on nothing in Las Vegas. And it just reeks that Georgia at home is going to, they're more of a complete team. They're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to get some stops. I am worried about Bennett a little bit, that he is kind of inconsistent right now. He's been a hot topic of conversation down here in the South as far as, is he a guy to win it all? Well, he won it last year. Jamison Williams going down helped that in the Alabama game, in the championship game. But I'm gonna lean towards Georgia in this one to win by about 10 to 13 points. And I just think that they've been in these spots a little bit more, and I like the line moving in my favor as well.
Yeah, so I don't want to be on the side of Georgia, right? I understand how people have, like, we've kind of forgotten about them. They haven't really played a big game since they ran Oregon out of, was that in Atlanta? They ran Oregon out of Atlanta.
Yeah, it was Atlanta.
So it feels like we've kind of forgotten about the fact that, hey, this team just won the national championship like 11 months ago, right? But I don't want to back them. I don't really enjoy watching them. I don't think that they're fun to follow. I think this Tennessee team is exciting. What I will say is this: I feel like that all your analysis, coming from my head, I think that your take on Georgia is right. But I do think there's value on the under here, because I do think that what Georgia's going to try to do is stifle that offense that Tennessee has. I think they're going to try to run the ball. I think they're going to try to make sure that Hendon Hooker doesn't get on the field. And I think they're probably going to have some success being able to do that. I do think that Tennessee's defense, like you mentioned, is better than people realize. So if I can get under 66, I think that that's probably where I'm going to be. I don't like betting the under. Life is too short to bet the under, but I think that right now that's where the value is.
Don't send me any angry text when Heupel's snapping the ball every 5 seconds.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know. We just need a couple of those like 13-minute long Georgia drive.
It's
That's all
not for
it's
Georgia. Yes, it will be a battle of tempo. Georgia does want to play more conventional. Georgia is. I give you your Georgia football, and I introduce you to Virginia basketball. Okay.
Fair enough.